Yeah, this is a story from Kenya. I was 15. I had my sister who was 2.5 years older than me. And we had a cousin, my auntie's son, who was studying in our place, Machakos, which is a district in Kenya. It's about 28 miles from Nairobi. So he wanted to go home for weekend, and we were going to go with him. And we went, we got to the place, to their home, and auntie was there. Auntie, my daddy's sister, elder sister. And we were there. And at the end of the evening, the house is round. You see the African house is there round. And that's where they eat, that's where they sleep, that's where their house, bedrooms and the kitchen. So her place was partitioned. She was just there. And near the fire, out there was a bed. And that's a bed my sister and I were going to sleep on. And at the end of the night, before we went to bed, Auntie came and said to us, if you see, when you're sleeping, if you wake up and see women around the fire here, they will be maybe laughing and they make these African baskets. They all will be making those baskets. Say, don't get up. Don't. And that made us so frightened because we never seen anything like that. Because we are Christians, but my auntie, where she's married, that family, they are not Christians at all. They just follow the cultural thing of spirits. So we used to hear the stories, but we had never seen anything like that. And there we are, being told we might see. So you can imagine we were really, really frightened. And we went to sleep. We slept a bit, but we woke up, and God beheld, there were women round the fire. There was this kind of light, not electricity, but you could see they were there, but we couldn't see the faces. We could see the baskets. They looked like they were sitting down, but we don't know what they were sitting on, because they were around the fire, the African fire, which is 3 stones. There were no chairs there. But they were sitting, according to us, the way they looked. And they were laughing. We couldn't hear other words. And we kind of like paralyzed. We were frozen. We just watched. And I don't know whether we went to sleep or they left. We slept afterwards. I woke up in the morning. There was nothing. Everything was gone. It was normal. But it was so frightening that we did not want to spend another night there, and we never went back again. It was really, really frightening because I was worried in case we want to go outside to the town. What were we going to do? But God helped us. We didn't pee.
But you never asked your auntie, like, who are these people? Because I would love to know who these people are.
We could. According to our custom, we could not ask her because respect, she was my daddy's elder sister. And we really are not supposed to ask things like those. Because we really wanted to know, who are they? Do they come there every day? What do they do? What were they sitting on? What are they doing? Who are they? But we couldn't. We just took it as it was. And that's what happened. But I tell you, we never went back to my auntie again.
But when you saw these women as well, like, that's the thing, they, from the story, what it sounds like, they were spirits. But they looked, to who they looked?
They just looked normal. Like women. Yeah. There were women sitting around, but we couldn't say, we couldn't see what they were wearing. We couldn't. There were things we could see the baskets very well, the bags they were knitting. They are bags, African bags. But we could not see much of it. And also, don't forget, we could not get up to look much. We were kind of even like holding our breath. We were so frightened. we survived.
But this is why I like the story. This is why I love you, mammy. Because even though you're Roman Catholic, like you were brought up as in you decided as a child, obviously because Kenya was colonized, y'all, and your dad. Basically, like, you know, you wanted to take on the Roman Catholic religion anyway. But anyway, the point is that you were grown up Roman Catholic. So what I like about when you're telling me this story.
So sorry, I was brought up Salvation Army. I was born baptized Salvation Army, but I changed to Catholic only myself first. I was the first Catholic there, which I paid for with the beatings from my uncle. But we didn't know anything of the spirits. Were just stories we used to hear. I never could say I was going to see something like that, but I saw it.
Yeah, it's good. What I was going to say is like, okay, so yeah, you were Salvation Army, but to be fair, it's not the same. But like, I'm making the same point, as in like you and your dad and you sort of decided to you're taken on, I guess, the colonizers' religion. I'm going to put it like that because these religions were not there before the white man came, basically. And so basically that's my point. And so what I'm saying, what I like when you tell me the story, what makes me laugh, and it's what makes it interesting for me is like, I like the fact that you're not demonizing what it was that you were seeing, even though you were damn scared to the point where you would have pissed yourself. You're not saying, oh, it was demonic because it wasn't Christian, it was demonic. Like, you're like, no, this is what happened. This is the ways of the people before. It's not something that you wanted to see and you were scared, but you're not demonizing that, which I like, because like when you usually hear like stories about this kind of stuff, or when I watch them and listen to other people telling stories, particularly on places like YouTube and stuff, if you go into the comments, you have people starting to say, oh my God, okay, yeah, you know, they start saying blood of Jesus, and I'm not being like rude, but it's like, it's kind of, in my mind, is rude to the actual ways of the people. Like, it's as if to say that there's something wrong with that, and it's not. And I think that's why I like when you tell the story, because when you told us this story when we were younger, first time you told me this story, you've never said like, oh, yeah, and so this was like demonic, and it was like witchcraft or anti-Christian. Like, you never said that. You were like, this is the story, this is what happened, this is what we saw, this is what the people believe. And I like that, because I personally don't like to see when people are like demonizing what are essentially the ways of people before. Like, it's like, it was natural. I
couldn't demonize them, because we had so many people who are not Christians living, our neighbors, they were not Christians. We knew they were not. We knew, like, they used to have their dance kind of with the drums. It would be on a Saturday at someone's place, Saturday night working. And we know that those are people who are not Christians. They used to have their own dance. So you can't say it's demon, because that's how they are. That's their religion. That's what they believe. That's what they believe.
Probably what you would have been ascribing to if it wasn't for the fact that you were like, took on Christianity. It's funny that you said about the drums, because I literally was listening to something earlier today where they're saying like, oh, that drumming is like a demonic thing, like the way of drum. And I'm like, what? Like, how is it you're so like, almost, to my mind, it's like, how is it that you're almost so, it's almost like Stockholm syndrome, the fact that you're like demonizing your own. So
you mean they don't want people to use drums?
Yeah,
because
they're saying, and these are like black Christians as well, so these are like maybe black Americans or whatnot, Christian. Now they're like, oh, that's it's a sign, and it's like demonic or something, or it's not. And it makes my mind hurt, because I'm like, how are you so lost in the source of this? It's okay if you want that to be your religion, but then don't forget about like the root of what it is, that what it was like before. Like, Christianity was something that was brought to you. How, like, to me it shows like, I don't know, I find it ignorant that
I don't know how
it's like,
I don't know how they can call drums, because in Salvation Army they got drums. When you get a drum, you are playing what you are playing. You play a Christian song, you play a dancing song. That's an instrument.
I've seen it, and I think it was a case of like the guy was saying, and I believe it. It was like it's another way. It was another to separate the black people from their roots. Because the more you separate somebody from their identity, the more lost they are. And if you're lost, it's very difficult to take to have a footing in something. And when you have an identity crisis, that's when it's easy for people to impose their own will on you. Like you see it all the time in other guises with young people, or just anything. Like when you see young kids and they have identity crisis and they don't know where they belong and blah blah blah, you start to, you're more vulnerable.
You try to erase everything from.
No, you're vulnerable because you don't know. If you don't know what you're
the
about,
people are trying to erase
exactly.
everything from you so that you can.
You're lost.
No.
Which is kind of like what happened. Like they say, like when when the slaves were brought over, like they stripped them of they refused them, the slaves, to practice their own religions that were reminiscent of the motherland, because they were you're trying to make somebody very dependent on you, and you're trying to also break somebody down so that they feel. So that you can create a power dynamic and imbalance, and that's what you see, and that's why when you see, like, especially when you read about like kind of like Louisiana and New Orleans and sort of like Haitian stuff, and when you look into that's all like the religion that came from West Africa, like the voodoo that people say is like voodoo, but it's like no, it's the actual religion. How they used to have to disguise their deities with Christian deities so that they can practice. Because it was stripped, and that's sad. Like, regardless of what it is, if somebody strips something from you, it's sad. So I like the fact that when you told me the story, like that you've never demonized it. Like, obviously when we heard it, I was like, oh my god, if I saw that I would be scared. But I never was like, ooh, witches, because that it was just, I heard the story for what it is, and it's scary, and it made me laugh at the same time.
In fact, we had a neighbor, our neighbor, my grandmother's, my daddy's mom, neighbor. They were not Christians. And she used to have these things. And I tell you, we've been there several times on a Saturday to watch when they are dancing. Because when they dance, they get to a stage. Some of them catch the spirit.
Yeah, maybe that's what they call when the spirit mounts somebody. They get in there.
We used to watch. We used to go and watch. We're not going, but because they are out there, they are dancing and drums, and you will see somebody who will get. That's what we used to go and look, but not go near, not
but it
there.
was fascinating.
Yeah, we used to find it very, because you see, they are not Christians, they catch spirits. It's like the lady I was telling you used to come to church and start singing, and we used to watch that. Yeah, because we had many who are not Christians, and you are Christian, and nobody will say anything to anybody. You follow your own things. No fight, nothing. And some of the school mates, classmates, their moms who are not Christians. You can see a girl going to Catholic school, going to Catholic church, but the mom is not Christian. She has those, and that's it. Yeah.
See, that's why I like it. And see, that's why we end up having good talks, because obviously, like, I'm not Christian. I was brought up by you as a Roman Catholic Christian, but then obviously I opted out. I jumped ship.
I don't know that because I...
You do know that. You knew that I jumped ship. I never was even in the ship to begin with. I was just sort of like resting on the deck. But what my point is that I've always, I'm more like a spiritual. I have like a whole different set of like things that I believe in and into, but we still have we still talk about, we can still have the discussions, and it's fun because there's no crazy judgment. So I'm happy for that because it's lucky. I'm lucky, but that story's mad, and if I saw that, I don't know what I would do, to be fair.
Oh god, it was.
I definitely would freeze. I would freeze. Get a confused story, and we'll come back next time with another one because you've got other stories to tell.
Okay. Yes. Yep.
Bye. Mum is literally picking up her phone and walking away right now. I'm saying go, Mum literally picking up her phone like she's coming out of a business meeting. She's like, okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.